Hello, and welcome to the Watchlist channel. In this feature movie, adaptation of the well-known fantasy video game series, Azeroth is being invaded by an orc horde utilizing a mystical portal, and certain human heroes and rebel orcs must work to stop the real cause of this war. The movie name is Warcraft. Humans and orcs have been at war in the Middle-earth region for a very long time. The chief of his Frostwolf orc clan, Durotan, is seeking to leave his life of conflict behind because he and his wife Draka are expecting their first child. The orc clans come together as the Horde. The evil orc warlock Gul'dan intends to lead the Horde into the realm of Azeroth since their home, Draenor, is on the verge of destruction. The dark magic known as Fel, which is produced from death, is used by Gul'dan. He brings a large number of caged Draenei prisoners to the gate after having captured them. The chained-up, half-human half-orc Garona, passes by some inmates who implore her to free them even though she has no power to do so. After draining the Draenei of all their life energy, Gul'dan opens the pathway to Azeroth. While the orcs storm through, Draka hides her pregnant belly. When they get there, Draka feels pain. When the other orcs find that he is pregnant, they reproach Durotan for letting her enter in such a vulnerable state. She starts the birth process. With the assistance of Gul'dan, Draka gives birth to a stillborn orc child. To give the boy life, Gul'dan uses the life power of a nearby deer. He introduces Durotan's son as a new warrior for the Horde. King Magni Bronzebeard is meeting with Commander Randu and Lotar at Iron Forge, and he gives Lotar a boomstick. Then, when a garrison has been attacked, Lotar is requested to travel to the realm of Stormwind. When Lotar visits Stormwind, he meets Khadgar, a magician who was caught looking at the bodies. They discover one man's body, whose mouth is spewing green smoke, indicating that he was killed by fel magic. King Laenrin meets with Lotar and Khadgar. They are directed to travel to Karazhan to meet with the guardian Medivh. Lotar and Khadgar discover Medivh creating a massive clay golem. While Lotar describes the issue to Medivh, Khadgar notices a shadowy figure lurking in Medivh's library. Khadgar is drawn to a particular book by the strength of the character. He starts to pick it up when Medivh appears and uses his power to pin Khadgar against the wall. Lotar, Khadgar, and Medivh walk into the forest as a team of scouts to look into the fel magic. A gang of orcs attack them, defeating the humans while Lotar manages to kill quite a few of them. Blackhand tries to attack Lotar, but Lotar uses his boomstick to cut off Blackhand's hand. The green-skinned orcs are killed by a spell cast by Medivh, but Durotan, his companion Orgrim Doomhammer, and the belligerent Blackhand are unaffected. The last orcs flee. Durotan rides a horse passing Garona, still in chains. To release her from her chain, he swings an axe. However, Khadgar uses his power to hold her down, and the humans end up capturing her. Garona is brought to Lane's castle. She reveals that the orc army is approaching this world and that her homeworld is not depicted on the map of Azeroth. She is then imprisoned, but Queen Teria, Lane's wife and Lotar's sister, provides food and comfort. Garona believes that by killing Teria, the orcs will gain honor, but Teria claims that her people would not gain honor. Blackhand is in front of Gul'dan, who calls him weak for fleeing from the humans and letting his troops perish. Durotan steps in to stop Gul'dan from putting Blackhand to death by telling him that Medivh was using the fel against them. Despite Gul'dan's claim that only he had the power to control the fel, Orgrim and Durotan observe the orc camps while sitting side by side. According to Durotan, Gul'dan's power is what caused Draenor to fall apart, and if he keeps using it, Azeroth will also perish. Durotan wishes to stop Gul'dan, but Orgrim thinks they should stay loyal to their people. Garona is set free by Lane under the condition that she remain devoted to Stormwind. Teria hands Garona a little dagger so she can protect herself. She leads Lane, Lotar, and those under Lane's authority, including Lotar's son Callan, to a meeting with the Frostwolf family. The humans and orcs come together to discuss a peace, but for that to happen, they must slay Gul'dan. Garona acts as translator for Lane and Lotar as Durotan steps forward to speak. They are soon ambushed by Gul'dan supporting green orcs, Blackhand, and his allies. In addition to Durotan and his family, the evil orcs fight against the humans. Medivh divides the humans and orcs behind a barrier, but Callan is left in the orcs' side. Neither Lotar nor Callan are able to break through the barrier. Blackhand, who has a new claw hand, impales Callan and throws his body in the direction of his father. Medivh loses strength and he is taken back to his house and put in his mana pool. Khadgar notices that Medivh's eyes are glowing green, a sign that he was infected with the fel magic. While Medivh teleports Garona back to Stormwind, Khadgar departs to look for assistance. Lotar is discovered by Garona in a chamber, wasted and lamenting the loss of Callan. She approaches his side to reassure him. Lotar claims he has lost faith in Medivh. When Orgrim speaks to Gul'dan, he discovers that Durotan has chosen to side against the Horde. Durotan is imprisoned, while Blackhand murders the Frostwolf clan. Gul'dan gives Orgrim the opportunity to absorb fell magic in order to grow into a more powerful orc. Khadgar travels to Dalaran on a griffin above the skies. He meets with the other older mages, who are all angry with Khadgar for abandoning them so long ago. He explains to the mages that Medivh is tainted and that fell magic is spreading throughout Azeroth. Aloti, a senior guardian and the mysterious stranger from Medivh's library, is introduced to Khadgar. According to Aloti, Medivh has been battling a demonic force for some time, but he has since caved up and let the Fel to corrupt him. Morose assists Medivh in getting into his pool. The power of the Fel causes the pool to glow green. Moreau's life power is absorbed by Medivh, who causes him to begin morphing into an orc-like beast. Lane calls a gathering to bring together members of the Alliance, in order to battle with the Horde. Lotar disagrees with the strategy and believes that in order to stop more orcs from infiltrating Azeroth, the portal should be destroyed. Medivh, in his human form, teleports to the meeting, getting under Lotar's skin when he mentions Callan. To help him calm down, Lotar is placed in a cell by Lane. Realizing his mistake, Orgrim quietly releases Draka and her child, Goel. Then Orgrim travels to release Durotan. Durotan is furious with his friend, but after finding out that he allowed Draka and Goel to flee, he shows forgiveness. Lane advances into battle with his troops. Upon his return, Khadgar transforms a guard into a sheep and releases Lotar from his prison. Khadgar then begins to employ magic to devise a strategy for combating Medivh. Draka sends Goel to safety by placing him in a basket and sending him down a river. As Goel safely departs, another orc appears. Draka uses her fangs to pull the orc's throat out, but she is fatally impaled. In front of the rest of the Horde, Durotan challenges Gul'dan to a duel. Durotan and Gul'dan fight, and it looks like Durotan has the upper hand until the warlock uses his magic to drain Durotan of his life energy, much to the chagrin of the other orcs. Durotan is eventually killed by Gul'dan, which makes the other orcs flee. The green orcs that leave are killed by Gul'dan, who also forces the other orcs to remain by his side. Then he waits for Medivh to begin opening the gateway while Gul'dan maintains it with the help of the life power of other prisoners. As the orcs begin their invasion, Lane and his army, now joined by Garona, start fighting them. Meanwhile, Lotar and Khadgar try to fight Medivh, but he brings his clay golem to life, leading it to attack the two. Although Lotar succeeds in removing the golem's head, its body is still alive. As the golem transforms into stone, Khadgar uses a spell to knock it off of Medivh. Medivh is returned to normal after Khadgar casts the demon out of him, but he is still dying beneath the golem. Medivh switches the gateway from Azeroth to Stormwind, as he draws his final breaths, releasing some of the prisoners. Lotar rides his griffin toward the battle. Lane orders Garona to kill him, since he knows they won't win, and there could yet be a possibility for orcs and humans to live in peace. She would also be able to gain respect from the Horde. Before Blackhand can strike, Garona regretfully puts her blade into Lane's neck. Garona is cheered on by the orcs as they carry her before Gul'dan, who accepts her into the Horde. When Lotar arrives to attempt, he finds Lane already dead with Garona's dagger still lodged in his neck. As he tries to flee with Lane's body, Blackhand caught his griffin by the leg and slammed both to the ground. When Lotar awoke, Blackhand threw his blade to him and challenged him to a Mak'gora, to finally settle the conflict. Blackhand attacks first, but Lotar slid between his knees, sliced his midsection, and severely injured him. Blackhand knelt down, and Lotar stabbed him in the back, killing him and conquer the Mak'gora. Because of Lotar's valiant triumph, the orcs respected him, much to Gul'dan's chagrin. Even if Lotar gains the orcs' esteem, Gul'dan wants them to murder him. He tries to handle it on his own, but Garona warns him to back off, or else he will lose the orcs' respect, and he will have to engage in combat with the other orcs. Lotar is then left to take Lane's body away. Lotar is left by himself in his room until Khadgar comes in. He recovers Garona's dagger, which Lotar had snatched from Lane's neck, leading Lotar to believe that Garona had fooled Lane on purpose. Lane is buried in front of the entire kingdom. After Teria pays tribute to her late spouse, she asks Lotar to stand in front of everyone, since he will now be in charge of the Alliance. In the final scene, Goel is still seen drifting downstream. The sound of Durotan's voice is audible, announcing that his son will take over as the orcs' next king, and possibly bring about peace among them. A man picks up Goel's basket, and the baby growls at him. Make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification, so you can watch more video like this. Thanks for watching.